Your generation is repeating the exact behavior that killed every mouse in Universe 25. Science documented what's next. Isolation, delayed adulthood, screens replacing touch. Turns out, John Calhoun warned us in 1972. Nobody listened. Imagine you're living in a perfect world. Unlimited food, unlimited water, perfect temperature. No predators, no disease, no bills. Just comfort forever. Now imagine this perfect world killed everyone inside. What if you're living in Universe 25? Let's go back to 1968. A quiet research building outside Washington, the National Institute of Mental Health. A behavioral scientist named John B. Calhoun walks into a large room carrying 4 pairs of mice. 8 animals total. 4 males, 4 females. Healthy, young, curious. What happens next will change biology forever. In front of him sits a steel enclosure. He calls it Universe 25, size of a living room. 16 vertical tunnels lead to 256 nesting boxes. Food hoppers everywhere. Water everywhere. Climate perfectly fixed. No cats, no hawks, no parasites, no competitors. Nothing in this world wants to hurt these mice. Calhoun built this place with one goal: remove every possible source of suffering from these living creatures. He wanted to know what a species does when it finally, truly, has absolutely everything it could want. He called it a mouse utopia. In his notes, more bluntly, a rodent paradise, a literal heaven. He placed 8 mice inside. He closed the lid. He started the clock. Universe 25 had begun. But here's the thing. Calhoun wasn't doing this for fun. He'd studied rats in cramped urban conditions for decades. He'd already seen what overcrowding does. He wanted something deeper. Not what happens when animals fight for scraps, but what happens when they don't have to fight for anything at all. That was the real question. Why does this matter to you? Because your world is starting to look like that steel box right now. Most people never notice because paradise, by definition, feels comfortable. On day 315, something impossible began. For the first 100 days, mice explored, fought a little, paired off, built nests, had babies. Lots of babies. The population doubled every 55 days. 8 became 16, 16 became 32, then 64, then 128. Nesting boxes filled up, tunnels grew crowded. But there was still food, still water, still space to live. Then, around day 315, the doubling stopped. Not slowed, stopped. No famine, no drought, no sickness. Nothing had changed in the environment. But the mice quietly produced fewer children. Then fewer, then almost none. At the same time, the roles inside the colony began to fragment. Young males couldn't find territory to defend. Every corner was taken, every hierarchy was full, so they drifted through the center in loose, aimless packs. Some became passive and withdrawn. Others turned suddenly randomly violent, attacking others for no reason at all. The females noticed, and they changed too. Mothers who had raised litters perfectly for generations started abandoning their pups. Some attacked their own babies. Some simply forgot to nurse them. The pups died, not from hunger, from neglect. Then Calhoun saw something he'd never described before. A new kind of mouse he'd carry with him forever. He called them the beautiful ones. But here's the thing. The strangest phase hadn't even started yet. To understand what was happening, you need one concept. Calhoun called it the behavioral sink. Here's the idea. In nature, stress usually comes from scarcity. Not enough food, water, or shelter. Remove those, animals should thrive. That was the theory. But Calhoun proved something different. There's another kind of stress, density stress, social stress. The stress of being surrounded constantly by too many of your own species. Not enemies, just endless neighbors. In Universe 25, resources were infinite, but social space was not. And the mice, never hungry, started to break. The males split into two extreme types: hyperaggressive alphas who attacked without warning even their own kin. On the other side, withdrawn loners who refused to interact with anyone. No middle ground, no normal mice left. Scientists believe this mirrors what happens in your brain under chronic social pressure. Cortisol rises, dopamine circuits dull. The reproductive system, deeply tied to feelings of safety and status, quietly shuts down without asking you. Your body decides that this is simply not the time to bring new life into the world. Calhoun had seen this before. His Norway rat experiments showed the same patterns: cannibalism, failed pregnancies, ritualized isolation. But those rats fought over something: space, food, mates. Universe 25 was different, nothing left to fight over, and the mice still collapsed. Then Calhoun noticed something eerily human. He called them the beautiful ones. They were young mice, mostly male, who withdrew completely. They didn't fight, mate, defend territory, explore, or play. Instead, they spent their days grooming, endlessly, obsessively. Their fur was flawless, their bodies sleek, no scars from conflict. Physically, the most perfect mice in the enclosure. Biologically, dead ends. They ate, drank, slept, groomed, ignored the females. When females approached, they showed zero interest, zero curiosity, zero purpose. They lived but did not participate in life. Calhoun called this the first death. The spirit dies before the body, still breathing, still eating, but drive erased. Once the drive is gone, it does not come back. By day 560, no new pups survived. By day 600, the last viable litter was born. By 920, every adult was past reproduction. By day 1780, the population was 0. Silence, inside a paradise that had everything they needed. Paradise had gone extinct. And here's where the human parallel gets uncomfortable, because it's happening to us right now. Look at the map. Japan, South Korea, Italy, Germany, Singapore. Every wealthy country on Earth watches its birth rate collapse. In South Korea, the fertility rate has fallen below 0.8 children per woman on average. Mathematically, that population halves every generation. But here's the thing, this collapse isn't really about money. Contrary to popular belief, these are some of the richest societies in human history. Food is cheap, housing exists, healthcare works, no wars, no plagues, no famines. By any measure, Calhoun would recognize this is utopia. And the response, biologically, looks exactly like Universe 25. In Japan, they have a word for this withdrawal: hikikomori. Adults, often men, who lock themselves in a single room for years, done with the outside world. Not depressed, not psychotic, just done. Done with dating, done with careers, done with friendship. Estimates exceed 1 million. Across developed nations, researchers track need, not in education, employment, or training. Millions physically healthy but stepped out. Studies show loneliness in wealthy countries now hits medical levels. In America, 1 in 2 adults reports feeling isolated. In the United Kingdom, they appointed a minister for loneliness, an office for citizens who forgot each other. And what replaces contact? Grooming. Digital grooming. Your feed, your filters, your fitness tracker, your carefully curated photos. Hours perfecting an image no one will ever touch. The beautiful ones had fur, you have only screens. Abundance without meaning breeds apathy. Your brain evolved for struggle, for tribes of 30, for hunger and cold. It evolved for danger, cooperation and reward. Take those away, replace them with unlimited comfort and strangers, and something inside quietly turns off. But one detail from Calhoun's data changes absolutely everything about this. Around day 560, Calhoun identified something chilling, what he called the point of no return. Before that day, the colony was in trouble but recoverable. The behaviors were bad, but knowledge remained. Mothers still remembered how to mother, males still remembered how to court. The social software still existed, even if fewer mice were running it. After day 560, something broke that couldn't be fixed. Calhoun tried. He took a small group of the healthiest survivors and removed them from Universe 25. He placed them in a fresh enclosure, low density, perfect conditions, a completely clean start for them. If mice reacted only to environment, these survivors should have rebooted, bred, rebuilt. But they simply didn't. They wandered, they groomed, they ignored each other, they died alone in complete silence, never once reconnecting. The behaviors of a functional mouse, courtship, parenting, territorial play, and curiosity had not just been suppressed, they had been forgotten, culturally deleted. Even in Paradise version 2, they couldn't remember how to be society. That was the finding that haunted Calhoun for the rest of his life. Not that comfort killed the mice, but comfort erased the memory of how to live. Once gone, no environment on Earth could bring it back. He published his warnings in 1972. His paper was called Death Squared. He wasn't writing about rodents, he was writing about us. He said so directly. Human civilization was walking straight into the same trap. Its cities, its safety nets, its screens, its infinite comfort. For decades his work was ignored, dismissed as alarmist, filed away. But now, quietly, modern researchers in demography, neuroscience, and behavioral biology are revisiting his data. The numbers, the graphs, the timelines are lining up in ways nobody wants to talk about tonight. So what does this mean for you? Here's the twist. Universe 25 is not a prophecy at all. It's a warning about a specific kind of life, and you can, right now, step slightly outside of it. Start here. Friction is not the enemy of happiness. It is the raw material of happiness itself. Your brain does not release meaning in response to comfort. It releases meaning in response to overcoming. A small climb, a hard conversation, a skill that took months to build, a cold walk you avoided. These are not obstacles to the good life. They are the good life. Purpose requires resistance and raw. In Universe 25, the moment there was no niche to fill, no territory, no problem, the mice opted out. Your role does not need to be grand, it needs to be real. Someone who is counted on daily, a skill someone else needs. A person whose absence would actually be noticed by the people around you. Small tribes protect against the behavioral sink. Calhoun's mice were surrounded by hundreds of neighbors and knew none. You are surrounded by thousands of digital contacts and know almost none of them. The antidote is fewer, deeper. 5 people who know your voice on the phone. 3 people you would call at 3 in the morning. 1 person who would notice if you disappeared for a week. Boredom and struggle rebuild your curiosity muscle. The beautiful ones had zero curiosity because they had zero unmet need at all in their comfortable lives. If everything in your day is optimized, delivered, streamed, algorithmically chosen for you, your curiosity muscle atrophies. Reintroduce small discomforts on purpose. Cook something from scratch. Walk somewhere without a map. Read something long. Sit in a room without a phone. Let your brain feel the mild ache of not being entertained. That ache is where thinking begins. And touch. Real touch. Handshakes, hugs, sitting shoulder to shoulder together. Studies show that physical proximity releases neurochemicals that no screen, no matter how bright, can ever replicate. The beautiful ones stopped touching each other long before they stopped breathing entirely inside their crowded utopia. There's one open question Calhoun never answered fully. Was the collapse inevitable, Or was it actually preventable? Calhoun believed his mice had crossed a line they could not walk back from, no matter what. But mice, for all their intelligence, simply cannot reflect on themselves or their own behavior from outside. They cannot look at themselves and say, "This is wrong, I am becoming something I do not want." They cannot read a study about their own species and consciously change course based on what they learned. You can. That's the one variable Universe 25 did not contain: consciousness, self-awareness, the ability to see. The ability of a species to look at a graph of its own decline and deliberately bend the curve. Whether we use that ability or quietly groom ourselves into extinction calling it progress, that's the real experiment. This one isn't being run by a scientist in a lab coat. It's being run by you, every day, in every small choice about how you spend your hours. One related study makes it even stranger. So here's my question for you. Do you feel the sink? Do you notice the pull toward comfortable nothing? Write it in the comments. One honest sentence. That alone is an act of quiet, deliberate resistance. Want to see the hidden experiment humans run on themselves? The one almost nobody remembers? Watch this next. If breakdowns like this help you see your own life more clearly, subscribe for more quiet warnings. More forgotten science, more questions worth sitting with.